15 and on her way to high school. She went missing in a Montgomery County suburb, sparking a community into panic more than 40 years ago. WMER2 News' Skylar Henry went to the neighborhood to learn more about this case that's puzzled the police department for decades as they've tried to figure out why and who killed Kathy Beatty in tonight's Maryland Misty.
For Montgomery County, 1975 is a sore spot for the neighboring D.C. suburb. The Vietnam War was wrapping up and things were getting back to normal in the county when the police department was hit with the first of a series of bombshells. Two sisters, Sheila and Kate Lyons, vanished after a trip to a shopping mall in March of that year. The case led every newscast and consumed the area for months. 4 months later, about 3.5 miles up the road, another young girl, Kathy Beatty, was missing.
She had a big, big heart. She was very talented. I gave the girls all kinds of exciting things to do, like they took tap ballet and jazz.
Patricia Haberman says her daughter Kathy had strict rules to be inside before it got dark. She was only 15. Pat had been out with a friend for a quick jaunt up to Baltimore to watch the Maryland lottery drawing and told Kathy she'd be back by 10.
I was late getting home, but that night it rained like crazy. We had thunder and lightning, and it was really bad. And when I got home, the house was dark. There was not a light on in the house. It scared me to death. My heart just leaped because something's wrong.
Well, 10 turned to 11 when Pat got inside the home she still lives in to this day. But there were no signs of Kathy. Only a note saying she'd popped over to a friend's house and she'd be back by 10. After Pat went to see if she was there and found out she never was, she started to worry.
I came on home and then I panicked. And I thought, where is she? Where could she be? It's not like her, not to be here and all.
Pat says her oldest daughter, Teresa, initially thought nothing of it, saying Kathy might be at a place teens in the area called The Hill. That's behind a K-Mart about a mile away.
I got in the car and I went up there in the rain. And I found the police officer just riding around in the car. I flagged him down. And I told him the situation, and I asked him if he would go in the woods. I said, I can't go in there. I said, would you go in there and see if my daughter's there? And he told me to go home and call the police. And he said, and I'll do that for you.
Even with some help, no one spotted Kathy. The next morning, Teresa and her then boyfriend started to get curious and wanted to check out the hill for themselves. They went there and saw something by the rocks.
This wood line is all that's left. Obviously, there's been some development over the last 40 years. This is where Montgomery County teens used to come and hang out. They called it The Hill. They also used to hang out at a place called The Rocks, which is now where these townhomes are currently sitting. This is where Kathy's sister found her.
Clearly had been a victim of an assault, and she was still alive, but not in a good way at all.
Montgomery County cold case detectives Frank Colbert and Lisa Bromley have been over this case for months. The department realized they now had another case of a girl who'd gone missing, and in this case, beaten and sexually assaulted. Kathy was unconscious, her head busted open by a blunt object, and her pants pulled off.
The rock you mentioned is a possibility, but yeah, as far as I know, they were never able to say for sure exactly what
the only thing that they did indicate was it was something of an irregular shape. So we know that.
She was then rushed to the hospital. For 11 days, Kathy lay in a coma before she died. Pat nor police able to figure out who or why.
It's the million-dollar question. She was last seen walking towards her house around 8:30 at night from Parkland Middle School, and we have no witnesses that have come forward to say where she went after that. We have absolutely no indication as to how she got to K-Mart, who she was with, any of that.
In the decades since the initial case, the police department was able to uncover clues they think could help. Kathy was barefoot when they found her, no shoes ever found around where she lay. And then there were a set of keys. They didn't belong to Kathy, and after a few trips to a locksmith, detectives determined one of the keys with a General Motors car key. Add on to the fact that police are re-evaluating and resubmitting key DNA evidence, and it's resulting in some progress to this now 40-year-old mystery.
Here we are even today, 43 years later, and there are no answers, and I'm running out of time. And I would love to have this solved before I die.
With another Maryland mystery, in Aspen Hill, I'm Skylar Henry, WMAR 2 News.